Hello, everyone. It's Stacy with Real Life Psychology and Life Coaching. And today we are talking about reasoned action theory, which is another way for me to explain why it gets lonely at the top. You ready to have a seat on the sofa? Let's chat. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. And we are sitting down to talk about reasoned actions theory. And basically what that is it explains the relationship between attitudes and behaviors within human beings. So our attitudes contribute to what we actually end up doing. And I know that sounds basic, but we're going to break it down into the topic of why it's lonely at the top. All right. So attitudes are basically things that we get from our subjective norms. We think about a certain thing, we believe in a certain thing, and then we put those behaviors and intentional behaviors into actual actions. And so if someone believes that them quitting smoking is going to benefit them with better breathing and it's going to make them have stronger lungs, they may want to quit. But then on the other hand, if they go, well, if I quit, I'm going to gain weight. So they have to weigh out what is more important to them. That's the basic part of it. But when I explain it gets lonely at the top, I'm talking about a lot of different aspects in your life that start changing. For one, our attitudes are based off of our age, based off our boundaries, our beliefs, our development process, our empathy towards other people, our personalities, our individual differences, experiences that we've gone through, and things of that nature. So when it comes down to understanding why people say it gets lonely at the top, it's because their mindsets have changed. When you're 10, you're not going to have the same mindset as when you're 25. And when you're 25, you're not going to have the same mindset as if you're 55. And when you're 55, you're not going to have the same mindset of if you're 85. So in this moment, I may believe and feel and value one thing, but as I get older and have more experience and have more life changes, I'm going to start changing my views on things. And that's how people are when they say it gets lonely at the top. Because for one, when people don't have anything to lose, they take more chances. They feel like it's, what am I going to lose? I might as well risk it all and try it. But as you start to mature and grow and inherit things, you start to realize, okay, I can't do this anymore because, this could affect this, and this is my bread and butter. So when people start getting to certain standpoints in their life and they start growing, they start feeling a little more isolated because their mentality is changing. One of the biggest things is you start to try to figure out who you can trust. That is a big factor in why people start to cut people off. You are obviously busier, so you're less available. And when you're busy, you're being productive. You're trying to focus on a goal. You're trying to get things set. If people around you are not focusing on those goals and they're not working as hard as you, they can't understand why you're so busy because they have plenty of free time. Which means you start to trickle away from those people. You start to be around more people that are just as busy as you or in the same line of work as you or doing things that you guys have in common, which is going to create a different group of friends and a group of people you're around. More people start to want things from you. So you're annoyed, you're frustrated, you're even overwhelmed at times. And sometimes you need to take a break. Let's just keep it 100 here. I'm not going to say, Janet Jackson is a certain way because I don't know her, but she doesn't have time to sit around and listen to the 5 million inquiries every day that someone needs of her. She's going to have to handle her business. And so she's going to have to eliminate herself and make choices based off of what's important to her, what is, a priority for her. And as people start to change and do that, you eliminate people. One of the things that I am starting to realize is that your attitude changes. the older you get, the more respect is a big issue. With me, respect has always been an issue, but it is more of an issue as I get to an older age, because I feel like I'm respectful to people. I was raised to be respectful to others. And I feel like, and no disrespect, but some of the younger generation is not getting the same influence that we've got from our elders. And so some people, yes, I see them, they are very respectful. But when it comes to a point when you have to determine your peace and respect, and you have to start determining who you're going to be around, the disrespectful people get cut first because you don't have time to train and guide and direct people that are your age how to treat you. It should be something that is given. And a lot of people really genuinely are raised differently, so they don't know that. But as you start to grow, you just separate yourself. You don't have time to mentor and develop every single person that is disrespectful. So you start to learn that maybe I just need to, back off a little bit from these group of people. And then the more you start eliminating, the less people you have. So if you're busy and your working schedules don't align, those people are cut off. The more you have to lose, and the people that don't have anything to lose, you can't hang out with those people anymore. Then you start to feel like, okay, well, these people are so disrespectful. Like I'm trying to get to a point in my life where I'm hanging out with higher ups, and higher ups demand respect. The more powerful you are, the more respect you are demanding. So with that, you're eliminating those people. I wrote this down, so I'm actually going to read it, but it says, the nature of power and its psychological effects frequently leave the debilitating feeling of being isolated from others. So it's not something that people want to be alone. It's just that as they grow, they are psychologically cleaning house. They are getting rid of things that they've been holding on to for so long that they feel might either be holding them back or not even just helping them grow. So when you start to reach a certain level in life, and it could be something as simple as graduating college. When you get out of high school, you are going to realize half of those people are not going to college. Half of them might move away. So you're automatically leaving people behind. So you get to a college life. Then you get to the workforce. And guess what? Some people that went through college are going different ways. So now you are eliminating certain people that, may not be in the level of expertise that you're in. Once you become more professional and maybe own a business, typically owners don't hang out with their employees. So you start to eliminate those under you. And it's not a bad thing. It's not saying, oh, you're beneath me. It's just that when people start to grow and get older, and their attitudes and their beliefs start to change, then they start to eliminate people. So of course, it's going to get lonely at the top. The higher up you get, the less time you have, the less people you can be around. And you end up what people consider isolated. Now, are you completely alone? Do you have to be completely alone? No. There are people that have people in their lives that they've known their whole lives, and they're very supportive of what they do, and they are there for them no matter what. And they're, not necessarily in the limelight, but they are there. So what I'm saying is you have to start to, as you grow, the saying, it gets lonely at the top. Shaving people off out of your life is not something that is bad. In order to get to the full place you need to be, you have to do that. The process is going to be hard, but you have to do that. So one of the things I wanted to break down for my viewers today is that growing and your attitude is going to be a constant thing. Sorry, my nose is running. Get that. Growing and learning about yourself should be a constant thing. You are going to always be trying to learn things, be trying to engage with people who know more than you. Have you ever heard the saying, if you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong group? It's true. You can only help so much, and once you get to a certain level, if no one's helping you, how are you going to grow? You can bring people up, but then where is that taking you? So you have to level up and get to somebody who knows more, has more, is available to teach you more, and you start to grow and get to that level. That's basically how it is. There are some people who are content where they are, and so they stay stagnant. They may have a lot of people around them because they're not doing anything. They're not going anywhere. But when you start to grow, you have to eliminate certain things. And I'm not saying that as you grow, you just cut off a whole bunch of people. But me personally, in my journey, this is something that I can completely relate to, because when I was in my 20s, I hung out with everybody. It was so fun. It was great. And I'm not saying every 20-year-old does this, because I wasn't a typical 20-year-old. You know, my mental state was I wanted kids very young. I started at 16, had, a child. So it's not, everybody is different. I have friends that have told me, Stacy, you are you, this is this person, you are you. But when you think about what's important to you, your attitudes and your beliefs, it puts things into action for you. So I've always been a go-getter. I bought my first house at 21. I, had all three of my kids by the time I was 25. I was a very active parent. I wanted to be involved in things. I worked one, sometimes two jobs. I wanted to make sure that we were provided for. I didn't feel like I had a backbone or somebody to fall back on, so I did what I had to do. That's my attitude. In reflection of that, I had things. I was able to take my kids on trips. I was able to, buy a house. I was able to have cars. And I'm not putting that out there as ooh, look at me. What I'm telling you is your attitude reflects your behavior. If your attitude is, it'll come to me, you're going to be waiting a long time and you're never going to have anything. Let's just keep it 100. Those who have a determined mindset and work hard get things. Those that don't. So as you grow, you start to leave people behind. And sometimes it's mentally, sometimes it's a physical thing, sometimes it's a disrespect thing, sometimes it's a busy thing. There are so many reasons, but our attitudes change our behavior. And as you grow, your attitude changes, so your behavior changes. It's, it's not rocket science, but what it is the way of life, and you have to start accepting it. So one of the things that I am really starting to accept, that letting go of people is growth for me. So yes, it can be sad, it can be frustrating, and it can be overwhelming at times. But if you really want to get to the place you have to be, you have to evaluate your life, who's in it, and why they're there. And if they serve no purpose, even family, if they serve no purpose, you're probably going to start cutting them off, and you're probably going to start spending less and less time with them, because you are on a mission to do the things that you need to do. So I wrote down something else here. You have to work hard to be in these positions. So working hard to be in these positions means that nothing's given to you. It's not gifted to you. Owning a business, being successful, becoming famous, buying a house, raising kids, nothing is just handed to you. You have to work for it. So with that, in your work comes change. And when you change, your behaviors, your attitudes, your beliefs, your mindset change. So then you just start to eliminate people from your life based off of what is important to you. So when you think about this theory, which is called the reasoned action theory, and why we have our attitudes and behaviors, sit back and think about what's important to you. What are your beliefs? Do the people that you're around believe similar things as you? What are your morals and values? Do you feel that elders should be respected more, or do you just not care? It is what it is. You get in where you fit in. Do you feel that the people around you are supporting you? Do you think that they're helping you grow? Do you think that you're growing in your group? If you are not growing in your group and you're the one always giving the advice, guess what? It's time to level up. It's time to get to that next group. And in order to do that, sometimes you just shed people away. So yes, it can get lonely at the top, but does it have to be completely isolated? No. What you do is you surround yourself with a group of people that are like-minded, that have similar goals, that have similar lifestyles, and are able to experience life the way you feel like you want to experience life. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into the real nitty gritty of some things, because this is how I like to end, is with things that you can be like, wow, she said that. Yes, I did. When you go on a vacation with your friends and you guys are out of the country or whatever, you want to be with friends who can afford to do the same things you can do. You don't want to go with friends who can do one thing a day, or, they can't. You have a whole list of things planned that you guys all agreed on, but all of a sudden, they're not able to do those things. This is not trying to be funny, but this is why rich people hang out with rich people. I can't hang out with Beyonce and Jay-Z. I don't have money to get a yacht. So they're not going to hang out with me all the time, because they have money to do things that I have no money to do. I have to stay within my comfort zone. So if we're keeping it completely 100 here, as you grow, you start to hang around people who can afford to do the things that you can do. The friends and family that are stagnant, that are comfortable where they are, that don't want to build and grow, unless you're paying for them and taking them everywhere, it's not rocket science, people. It's building and it's growing. And if people cannot respect the fact that you are growing and appreciate and applaud that, then they weren't meant for you in the first place. I can see people that have surpassed me, that started with me, and I am so proud of them. I see them and I'm like, wow, they are really doing it. I am so grateful. And it inspires me. It's like, okay, you got to get on your grind, girl. You got to, I'm not in competition with anybody. I know my time is my time. I know when it's time for me to have something and when it's not. And I can applaud people who it's their time, because I would want somebody to applaud me when it's my time. So as you grow and as you get to a point where you're starting to feel like you're isolating yourself a little bit, or you're starting to feel like your circle is becoming small, and that slogan keeps popping up in your head, it's lonely at the top, don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Enjoy it, because that means that you are growing and you are enhancing. And I know I talk a lot about people leaving, but that's the series of life I'm in right now. I am building and I'm growing. And sometimes that means saying adios to people that are not on my path. And it's no disrespect. It's nothing against them or their lifestyle. But what I want for my life and what you want for your life are two different things, which means I have to go in a different path than you. So take some time to really manifest on this video today, because there are some people in your life that you need to cut off. You've been bringing them with you. You've been dragging them along, and they are not meant to go. Sometimes it's time to say goodbye. And as you get to the top, and when you get where you want to be, the people that were meant to be in your life and the people that were meant to be there with you will be. All right, you guys, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't, and I will talk to you next week. Have a wonderful Sunday and enjoy your day.